Welcome, everybody. I'm Dr. Serrano. This is my wife, Jessica, and this is Home Team. And I love this because this is we get to spend a few minutes with you guys, and this isn't about us. This is really about you guys and for you guys. So what drives what we do here every Monday at 2 o'clock is your input, your questions, your comments. So as we get going here today, this is going to be the last week of our setup for success. So starting next week, we're going to pick up another topic, another different comments and questions, and we'll start diving through those. And what we want to do is we want to dive in through all of the physical, mental, and spiritual challenges that people go through at home with their families, with each other. And we want to just give you guys some help and some support and walk with you guys in that. So we're excited. Today is step 5. And step 5 is the war plan. But before we get into that, we want to go through and explain or kind of go through what we did this weekend, which we're just so super excited about.
Rested.
Yeah, we did.
Got a little bit of color.
So, yeah, want to talk about a little bit about the weekend, what we did, and how we refreshed and.
Sure. So it was our anniversary, and anytime we have to just celebrate marriage or family, we do it. So we actually went away to St. Augustine. It was awesome. All we needed is really 2 nights. It was just great to have a place far enough away that we had that nice little car ride. About an hour into it, we had already talked about some of our goals, what was going on in our lives. It was just that time to kind of connect again. And one thing we really like to do is to make it productive. It's not work that we do there, but we definitely use the time like we said, just to reflect on what's been going on the past 6 years, just to celebrate what's been great, to talk about our goals for the future, and it's just a really cool time, just conversation and a lot of good food. So
yes, and this is what we do this is kind of our routine. The way we use this setup for success, what we've talked about over the last 4 weeks, and this is being the 5th week of the 5-step setup for success, is that at the beginning of the year, we take a full 24 hours, we get away, and we go through these 5 steps. Then every quarter, we get back together and we just go through these. And literally this weekend, it took us about 30 minutes. We relaxed, hung out, chatted, and went to the beach and did all sorts of fun stuff. But on Sunday, in about 30 minutes, we went through what we're gonna go through with you right now. And we got up, got our coffee, did our Bible time, and we went we're in St. Augustine, and in the middle of St. Augustine, if you've ever been there, there's a kind of in the center of the city, a big grassy area, a plaza, and we went there with our coffees, and we went through the 5 steps. So first step was filling up. So what does this look like when you're going to change from quarter 1 to quarter 2? What does it look like to fill up? Well, for us, it was sitting down and looking at what are we using currently to fill up in, because if we continue to do the same thing, sometimes that could get a little boring or old, a routine. So we both sat down for 5 minutes and thought about, so what am I listening to? What am I putting into my spirit on a daily basis? Is there any of that I need to change? And
switch up, yeah.
And I did. I switched up a couple of things, and so did my wife, I believe, right?
Yeah. So, and this can be in any format, just something where you can have a consistent document to look back on. I know Raul has some journaling that he does.
I do my journals.
I have I'm an Evernote account, so I just made a document. It said 2017, second quarter, and we just documented all of this, and it's something you can refer back to. So yes. Whatever works for you guys. For my second quarter, I had fill up. I'm changing, like I had said before, my Bible study, and I'm actually working through something different this next quarter, as well as I created a prayer journal. So just some things that I needed to change up in my routine as far as filling up. Those were my 2 switch ups.
Then it literally took about 5 minutes. We took the next 5 minutes and we measured the gap. In week 2, we talked about the wheel of life, and you have the 8 categories we went through. I've cut mine down to really 5 categories, and my 5 categories were personal life, social life, home life, work life, and spiritual life. And I just rated myself, how was I in the last quarter in these different areas? And I picked 2 of the top lowest numbers there, and those are the ones I'm going to work on. So I took the measuring the gap, I talked through it of, hey, this is where I feel I'm lagging or falling a little short. And I went to the next step, which is step 3, and I dreamed. I dreamed again. If this category, if nothing was in the way, no time, no money, nothing was in the way, what would it take for this category to be the best it could be? And I just wrote down a paragraph of what that would look like for me in my home life. I wrote down a paragraph, what that would look like in my work life. Then I took those paragraphs and I made specific goals out of each one of those out of what I wanted. 1 or 2 goals of each of what I wanted to see accomplished. And, yep.
And the same thing with me. I kind of simplified it. I picked my 2 categories. As I'm transitioning into a new season in my life, I know that my focus needs to shift a little bit. So I am going to be working more on career. And I just made one of those goals that has lots of numbers in it, a timeline that I'm going to reach this. And this is kind of looking forward until the end of the summer. And it's just detailed, wrote it down. This is 5 minutes into it. And we already have a great goal that we're both really passionate and excited about. So.
Yeah. And the cool thing, the neat thing, like I said, it literally took between 20 and 30 minutes over the weekend to do this, and it just got us back on track. Like life can get crazy, and in a short amount of time, as 1 quarter, 3 months, you can be going in 55 different directions, and you kind of miss that. Hey, where are we? Are we in this together? What are we doing? How are we moving forward for this? So the next part after we got the goal was number 4 was creating the habit, and I thought about what would it take for me to create that habit. What is the routine that has to be created for me to reach that goal? And for me to create that habit, I literally wrote down on here, I need to put a reminder on my phone. One of the things that I want to do this quarter is I want to make sure that I'm lifting up my wife more. And I put down 4 to 1. It has to be a 4 to 1 ratio of me lifting her up more than I'm saying, hey, can we fix this? Can we do that?
I think it was actually 5 to 1, but that's all right.
I put 4 to 1 on here.
4 to 1. We'll start slow. 4 to 1.
So 4 to 1. So 4 times a day, I need to lift her up before I ever ask her or kind of correct or anything like that. So that's what I'm working on this quarter. One of the things I'm working on. But that's the habit. I want to create the habit because if during this quarter I can do that, the next quarter I don't have to worry about that because it's already part of my routine. And it's not that it's fake or anything like that. It's the fact that, hey, sometimes I'm busy and I just don't think about that. I love my wife. I love what she does. She works really hard, but sometimes I'm just so focused on what I got to accomplish that I forget that, hey, you know what? I haven't lifted her up. So if you're liking this, comment, give some thumbs up,
Thanks
some
for
hearts.
Sharing.
Shell, thank you for the good habit. I think that is a good one. And it's gonna be my next routine. So
We'll see how that goes.
hey, speak life. All right, so last one. You take those habits, and this is the easiest step. Is you take those habits or those routines that are gonna get you that goal, and then you have to make a war plan. What's a war plan? What does it mean to have a war plan?
We talk about this a lot because some people don't even realize, or I guess recognize, that you are in a battle. And it's called a war plan because you really have to take a proactive approach to your time. If you don't, it's gonna take over you, is what we basically say. So we're in this war. We know it's a spiritual battle as well, and we just have to make an attempt to make sure that we're using our time to glorify God and using it in the right way. So we call it the war plan because we're going to battle every single morning with our day. And basically it's just a schedule. And at first, when you guys are first starting this off, it's extremely detailed. So we do go by the hour. Sometimes it's a 1 page of just your Monday with every hour broken up. And then it can turn into like a 5-day planner. And we'll just get into a little bit about how we plug in our habits and make time for those. Yeah, so the war plan, all you do is, it's really simple. You're taking your to-do list, which most people have a to-do list, and you take that to-do list and you're literally just plugging it in. You're giving that to-do list a date and a time that it's gonna get done. Because if it stays on your to-do list, it's like clogging your brain. You kind of know it's gonna happen and it's always stressed. You're always stressed about it. But when you take that to-do, for example, something simple as taking the clothes to the dry cleaner. You know it has to happen, but it just sits there and sits there, right? I mean, we all do this. But as soon as it goes from the to-do list,
and it goes
You're
into
trying to
the...
tell me something about that basket that's still sitting by the door.
No, that was just one. I just put that down recently. So you take that that basket, right? And now it goes from a to-do list. You plug it into, hey, Tuesday at 9 o'clock, I'm going to take that to the dry cleaner. Guess what? You don't have to worry about it. It's in your war plan. Now, here's the key to the war plan. The key is that you have to have what is called solid yellow lines. Do you know what the solid yellow lines are? When you're driving, what does it mean if there's a solid yellow line? You don't cross it. You can't cross, you can't pass it. Same thing has to happen with the war plan. Once you put something in the war plan, it doesn't matter what you feel. It doesn't matter emotion if you don't want to do it, what emotions are behind it. The thing is, it's in there. You have to get it down. Yes, there's no crossing. Exactly. So what happens is, for many of our lives, we take these great goals, we make these routines or habits, we plug it into our calendar, and then when that time comes, we let our emotions take over. We say, I'm too tired, I'll do it later, I don't, and all these excuses start to happen. So that is where we have to have this concept of solid yellow lines, which once you cross into that box, or that 30 minutes or an hour, whatever that zone is, that's what you do. For me, great example is on Mondays at 12:30 to 1:30, I switch on and off. One Monday I'll be with Arya. The next Monday I'll be with Adriana, our two daughters, and I take them and we do a walk, or we'll do the park, or we'll do something for that hour, just them and I, just the one child and me. And the way I don't cross that solid yellow line is that the first couple of times I did this, I took my phone with me, and guess what? I got text, I got emails, and guess what I did? I crossed out of that yellow line because I started to now answer a text. So was I really with my daughter? No. My physical body was there, but my mind was somewhere else, answering a text. So now what I make sure I do, when I get into that solid yellow line at 12:30, the phone goes down, it stays on the table, and I leave, and I don't get back until that hour's done, and then I can go back to living my life. But that box is for them. That's my goal. Was my goal this quarter, and now that became the habit. So I don't have to worry about that. Now I can move on to my next goal. So that's how the war plan works in our lives. That's how it should work in your life when it comes to whether it's eating, exercising, your Bible time.
And I want to say too that the yellow lines don't necessarily have to go over or around every activity. Like, you kind of prioritize it. So those ones that you set goals for, that you're plugging in, the habits that you want to create, those are the ones that need to be the solid yellow line. Because a lot of times, you think about like having a family dinner. We are sitting down at 6:30 or whatever time, and we're putting a solid yellow around because that's our goal, is that we want to have some family time. Yeah. It's so easy to say, oh, for dinner I can be 15 minutes late, or I can finish a business call during that time, or I can go, whatever it is, throw in a little laundry. It starts to get compromised. So just those goals that you have, putting the yellow lines around, talking about those, making sure that at least for a while that it's something that you're committing to.
Yep. So war plan, all you're doing is you're creating that perfect week for you. It doesn't mean it's always going to pan out the way you want it to. Never does. But at least you have a plan, and you can strive for that plan. So do you guys have any questions? Next week we want to know what do you guys want to chat about? What do you want to go? I've been thinking a lot about immune system and how to boost our family's immune system, because a lot of that's going on. But we want to hear from you guys. So comment below, ask questions. Share this, hit the share button so that we can start spreading this message of how do you raise a healthy family? The challenges of the spiritual, the mental, and the physical part of raising that